South Africa losing a cabinet minister to COVID-19. He's the first whose life this disease has claimed. That is Minister in the Presidency, Minister Jackson Mthembu. We continue taking tributes then tonight. Rev Kenneth Meshoe, leader of the African Christian Democratic Party, joins us tonight. Ntate Meshoe, good evening and thank you so much for your time. Let's talk about how you've received the news of the passing of your colleague who you would have worked with in Parliament. You would have seen each other in those corridors and in the chamber quite a lot.
We received the sad news of Minister Mthembu with great sadness. He was one of those special human beings, a man full of passion, a man who was kind, a man who treated everybody with respect, including members of the opposition. He had humor. On a number of occasions, I would go to the restaurant in Parliament and see him sitting alone. I would join him because it was always a pleasure to talk to him. He demonstrated what respect to people as a leader and as a minister was. And because he respected all, he also enjoyed respect from his colleagues, particularly we in the opposition. He had a relationship with us that other ministers did not have. We are definitely going to miss him sorely. I do not know anybody in Parliament who did not like him or who spoke negatively about him, because he was also a man of his word. Whatever Jackson Mthembu would say, you would know that is. He believed in integrity, and in Parliament, when it came to his work, he did his work with great respect, diligence, and integrity. So on behalf of the ACDP, particularly my colleagues in Parliament who wanted to say something about this man they admired so much and respected so much, on behalf of the ACDP, I want to convey my sincere condolences to his wife, children, his family at large, and also members of the ANC. And I believe that if we in the opposition would miss him, it would be worse even for the ANC. We have heard how involved he was with the structures, and people in branches will hear report how they appreciated and loved this man. So I pray that his family and the ANC members will be deeply comforted, and also all members of Parliament who work with him, that they will be deeply comforted as South Africa has lost one of its best leaders and a giant. May his soul rest in peace.
Ntate Meshoe, one of the things that is being spoken about, and I think you're touching on it in your own tributes tonight, is how he was able to rise above the acrimony that would generally come out of being on different sides of the political landscape. Was it something that he had to try hard to do? So in order for you to get to a place where you can see him sitting by himself over lunch and just join him, was it hard to foster that relationship?
You know, there are some things that you have to learn. There are some things that you catch when you are around people who have those attributes. Minister Mthembu, when he showed respect, one did not see it as something that he rehearsed, thought about it, but it was natural for him. He was naturally a kind, dignified, and respectable person. So being in his presence was a joy. And I also appreciate the fact that if he would see me sitting alone sometimes, he would also come and say, Mfundisi, can I join you? And then we would laugh and, talk things that are not politics, about general life, because he loved people and people loved him. We definitely, and I personally, am going to miss him very much.
What has been lost in terms of the country? Because a lot of what has been said about Mr. Mthembu is that he had a genuine love for this country, that, you know, despite the agreements that, of course, you may have, the disagreements rather, that you may have being in different parties, one would never doubt his commitment to this country.
True, true. He always spoke about doing our best for our people. He always spoke about, let's make South Africa work. Let's make South Africa truly, truly great in the eyes of the world. So he loved this nation. He loved his country. He was very, very patriotic. And when you differ, he did not take a different of opinion as a person who is anti. He was not a person of anti anything. He was a person of truth. That's my experience with the man. He was a person who was genuine. And if he disagreed with you, he would do that with respect. And that we greatly, greatly appreciate it.
What do you think are some of the lessons that I think public officials in particular might be able to take from the life of somebody like Jackson Mthembu?
Public officials have to learn, among other things, kindness. They have to remember that when you are in a position, you are not going to stay up there forever. You need to know that the day will come when you will come down to Mother Earth. So when you come down, you need to know in your heart that you have many people around who will be your friends because you are friendly to people. He did not allow his ministerial position to make him arrogant, to make him proud. He would just greet. I mean, I've seen sometimes when I come behind him to greet people, greet everybody. He was just such a man. So I wish all public servants would emulate the attitude that this man had of appreciating and respecting people. You know, there are a few people that when I hear comments about them on the ground, people will say, well, we appreciate this, not so and so. We appreciate this, not so and so. Why? Because some people become so arrogant, as if they will die in those positions, as if they will not come when somebody will replace them. So Mr. Mthembu or Minister Mthembu is a person who was very exemplary. So my appeal to public office bearers, particularly to members of parliament and ministers and MECs and so on, let us remember that we are in those positions to serve our people. Let us treat them with respect and dignity. Let us remember that it is because of them that we have the positions that we have in life. So when we show respect to people, remember you are sowing. And what you sow, you are going to reap. You sow respect, you reap respect. You sow love, you reap love. So some people would complain, why am I not treated like so and so? Why are people not showing appreciation for me? It's because of the seed we were sowing. Minister Mthembu, we are able to say all these wonderful things about him, not to lie to anybody or deceive anybody, but to talk about the real man. He was a man of his way. What you saw in Mthembu is what you got. If he agrees, he will agree. If he disagrees, he will also again do that with respect. And the next day, he will still be smiling at you. He will still be that friendly Mthembu that you know, Jackson that you know. So I really also learned things from him. I learned things from him. You are next to the president, you are in the presidency, and yet you maintain your respect, your humility, and your kindness and dignity. That is Minister Jackson Mthembu from my point of view.
Reverend Meshoe, condolences to you, and thank you so much for coming on to the show to pay your tributes. He's the leader of the African Christian Democratic Party.